Welcome to the podcast. My name is David Jolly, and today we're exploring the incredible story of an old historic house that just, happens to be for sale. All right, picture this. You're walking Boston's famous Freedom Trail, surrounded by tourists snapping photos of old historic buildings and heading toward the North End for some authentic Italian food. You pass by a 3-story brick building at 10 Marshall Street, and you probably don't even give it a second glance. But this building holds one of the most fascinating untold stories in American history, and it's about to change hands for the first time in 50 years. In this podcast, we'll be diving into the incredible story of the Ebenezer Hancock House and its Revolutionary War secret. Okay, let's go back to 1767 and Boston. The city buzzes with tension and opportunity. British soldiers patrol the streets, merchants argue about new taxes, and in coffee houses and taverns, colonists whisper about ideas that would soon reshape the world. This is the Boston where Samuel Adams organizes resistance, where the Sons of Liberty meet in secret, and where a young merchant named John Hancock builds his fortune and his reputation. In this charged atmosphere, construction begins on a Georgian-style house at 10 Marshall Street. The builders use the finest materials, solid brick walls, elegant interior woodstock, and all the architectural details that mark a home for someone of importance. They're building this home in what we now call the Blackstone Block, right in the heart of Boston's commercial district. The man commissioning this house? Well, it's John Hancock himself, though at this point he's not yet the household name that he'll become. He is a successful merchant, though, inheriting his uncle's business and building it into one of the most profitable enterprises in colonial America. But Hancock has bigger ambitions brewing, and this house will play a surprising role in the revolutionary events to come. Okay, well, let me introduce you to the man who gives this house its name, Ebenezer Hancock. While his older brother John captures most of the historical spotlight, Ebenezer proves almost as crucial to the American cause, working behind the scenes in ways that literally help fund the revolution. And yes, John Hancock did build and own the building. It was actually his brother, Ebenezer, who lived in it. But Ebenezer wasn't just John's younger brother. Oh no, he actually becomes the Deputy Paymaster of the Continental Army, which means that he holds one of the most critical financial positions in the entire revolutionary effort. Now, this job is really important. Ebenezer must ensure that Washington's soldiers receive their pay, coordinate with suppliers to outfit the army, and manage the complex financial logistics of fighting a war against the world's most powerful empire. And he's doing all of this with limited resources, constantly shifting battlefronts, and the very real possibility that if the revolution fails, he'll be hanged as a traitor. But Ebenezer Hancock proves equal to the challenge, and the house on Marshall Street becomes his headquarters for some of the most important financial operations of the war. And here's where our story takes a turn that reads like a Revolutionary War thriller. In the late 1770s, as the war drags on and American resources stretch thin, help arrives from an, unexpected source: the French government. Now, France sees an opportunity to weaken their longtime enemy, Britain, by supporting the American rebels. But this support must remain secret. Well, at least officially. So the French devise a plan to loan substantial funds to the Americans, and they ship this money across the dangerous Atlantic in the form of silver crowns. Now, we're talking about 2 million silver crowns, an absolutely staggering sum for that era. And to put this in perspective, this single shipment represents enough money to pay thousands of soldiers for months, purchase massive quantities of weapons and supplies, and essentially keep the Continental Army operational during some of the war's most critical periods. And where does this treasure end up? Well, right here in Ebenezer Hancock's house on Marshall Street. Just imagine French silver secretly transported across an ocean controlled by the British Navy, now stored in the basement or hidden rooms of this Boston house. Ebenezer Hancock sleeps above this fortune that could change the course of history. Every night he knows that British agents would pay handsomely for information about this treasure, and that losing it could mean disaster for Washington's army. The house itself becomes a hub of revolutionary activity. Military couriers slip in and out, carrying sealed orders and payment authorizations. Ebenezer maintains careful ledgers, tracking every silver crown as it moves from secure storage to Army paymasters scattered across the colonies. The elegant Georgian rooms witness intense planning sessions. Maps spread across dining tables show troop movements and supply routes. Ebenezer and his assistants calculate how much money each regiment needs, coordinate timing to ensure soldiers receive pay before major battles, and solve the countless logistical puzzles that keep an army functioning. Meanwhile, the house maintains its public facade as a respectable merchant's residence. Neighbors see the normal comings and goings of a successful Boston businessman, never suspecting that this building houses the financial engine of the American Revolution. The house itself becomes a silent witness to these extraordinary events. Those Georgian-era interior details, the carved woodwork, the elegant staircases, the carefully proportioned rooms, frame conversations that help determine America's future. The thick brick walls provide security for the precious cargo within, but they also muffle the sounds of late-night planning sessions and urgent discussions about military funding. The multiple floors allow Ebenezer to separate his public business activities from his secret revolutionary work. Every architectural element serves the house's dual purpose. The front entrance welcomes legitimate visitors and maintains Ebenezer's cover as a conventional merchant. But other entrances, perhaps less visible from the street, allow for the discreet movement of money and messages that fuel the war effort. The building's location proves perfect for Ebenezer's work. Situated in Boston's commercial heart, it attracts no unusual attention when merchants, ship captains, and business associates visit regularly. The bustling neighborhood provides excellent cover for the revolutionary activities happening within these walls. When the war ends and America achieves independence, the Ebenezer Hancock House transitions into a new chapter of its remarkable story. The silver crowns move on to their intended purpose, helping to secure American victory. But the building remains, carrying its secrets into the new nation's future. Ebenezer Hancock continues living in the house, but now as a citizen of the United States rather than a revolutionary conspirator. The rooms that once echoed with urgent war planning now host more peaceful gatherings, but the building retains its connection to the founding generation. As Boston grows and changes around it, the house adapts while maintaining its historical integrity. The original Georgian architecture survives, preserving the physical spaces where revolutionary history unfolded. Each generation of owners becomes a steward of this remarkable legacy, whether they fully understand its significance or not. The building witnesses Boston's transformation from colonial port to industrial center to modern city. Horse-drawn carriages give way to automobiles, gas lamps to electric streetlights. But the house on Marshall Street endures, its brick walls holding centuries of American stories. Today, millions of visitors walk Boston's Freedom Trail, following the red brick path that connects the city's most important revolutionary sites. They visit the Old North Church where Paul Revere received his famous signal. They tour the Old South Meeting House where the Boston Tea Party began. But many of these same visitors walk right past the Ebenezer Hancock House without even realizing they're looking at one of the Revolution's most important financial headquarters. The building sits directly on the Freedom Trail route, yet its story remains largely untold to the passing crowds.